Saturdays about sports. The Sinner and the Saint will be that show, better than they were before. Sportsier, funnier, more labradoodles. The Sinner and the Saint Tailgate Show on 1080 The Fan, the
Odyssey
app, and 1080thefan.com.
Hey, happy Saturday morning, all you beautiful radio listeners. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your weekend, but let's check in with the most important man, Will Darkins. What's going on?
Not a lot. What's going on
How's
with you, Doug?
it?
Huh?
How's it?
How's this? Is good.
How's it? It's good?
It's going pretty good.
I
guess.
didn't do this on purpose, but I think I am now going all in on alternative sports.
Yeah.
Well, no, you only know half the story. You and I just watched the 2024 replay of the Pop-A-Shot National Championship.
To which I said, we're watching the 2024 replay of the Pop-A-Shot Championship, and you responded, yeah, I missed the live broadcast.
Yeah, I didn't catch it. I didn't catch it live in 2024, so I'm catching up on it. Totally by accident. I come in here this morning. We've got the 1080 The Fan Sports Den here. When we come in, we've got the
den.
Isn't it?
It
What
is
would you
not
call
a
it?
den.
The fan zone.
It is a
the
space,
fan cave.
It is a space of a larger room in close proximity to a TV.
Yeah, so it's not a room.
They have used
It's
a
not
couch and two chairs to section off an area where dudes can be dudes.
Okay, so would you call that a zone?
I would just call it a place where people go to watch TV and fart.
Yeah, but a zone.
It is a zone.
Okay, it's a fan zone.
It's
It's
a
not
zone.
a fan room. It's not a fan cave because it's not a enclosed area. It's a sectioned off area, which I would call a zone. So we're in the fan zone, and I put on to see what's going on. And there's some college basketball on.
Yeah.
There is rodeo. And there is the Pop-A-Shot 2024 Pop-A-Shot National Championship. I'm picking the Pop-A-Shot. Let's see what these guys got. And Josh Caputo, man, did he deliver. Wins a championship, scores 150 points in the first round of the finals. I mean, just get out of town. The guy averaged 125 in the finals. Come on.
That guy was really good.
He was really good at Pop-A-Shot.
I've never seen anybody that good before. I mean, obviously
He's
it's
a national
championship,
champion.
but like I had asked you, I said, is there anybody you think who is better than this? I mean, I know I get like the whole, well, duh, it's the championship, but like,
I didn't do that.
well, no, I know. It would seem like that's the response of like, well, it's the championship, so no. But like, you got to think there's some dude in a basement or like who goes to Dave & Buster's weekly and just would dominate Caputo and just be like he would use some other type of form than like the flick. Like,
Yeah, like the
he might
two-handed set
underhand.
shot. The two-handed,
he might just do
the two-handed little flip. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. But the guy scored 150 points in like a 1-minute round or whatever.
Yeah,
He
was
missed,
crazy.
He missed 2 shots.
Yeah.
You can't do much better than that. The guy, I'll bet you at some point in that dude's life, he's made every single shot that he's taken. That's my guess.
Probably.
So it's volume and it's accuracy. The guy had volume. The guy had accuracy. It was very entertaining to watch. You and I watched it together. It was delightful. Last night, sitting around, and there was some NBA games floating around my options, but the Winter X Games live from Aspen was on. And I threw that on, and as I put it on, everybody was losing their mind because a Japanese snowboarder had just landed. Would you like to guess? I don't know how well your math works with multiplying 360-degree revolutions. I mean, technically, I guess you just need to land a 180. Care to guess the number that this guy hit? Either number of revolutions or the total number of degrees that he spun that blew everybody's mind.
like an 1820 or something.
He just landed a 2340.
What?
That's what I said.
2340.
He landed a 2340 in the big air competition in the Aspen Winter X Games. That is 6.5 revolutions off of one jump.
I'm watching it. That's a 2340, all right. I mean, that's a lot of turns.
I snowboarded for quite a bit of time, and I couldn't tell you the difference between a McTwist and a rodeo and a casserole or whatever they're doing out there. But
kick poop
the guy doing the 2340 and
and a nut sacker.
Listen, there's a lot of pretty hilarious trick names that are out there. Danny Cass, who's a guy that I remember watching, said that he genuinely tried to name a trick that he did the casserole, and nobody was buying it. But that would have been hilarious. But
The tip biter.
the guy landed the 2340. Everybody's losing their mind. I just missed it, but they're still doing the competition, so I know I'm going to get the replay. So now I'm watching everybody do these tricks, and they are regularly pulling out the 1880 and the whatever. And
Yeah.
the whatever. And it's they're doing the bloody Dracula spin, which I'd never heard of, which apparently was an old trick that they reincarnated. But I'm watching.
Is that when you get a fisher and then you just let it out?
That's exactly what. It's exactly what it's when you eat too much Chipotle before you go snowboarding and you wear white pants. It's a whole thing. So they're doing tricks.
This guy has been prepping for 18 hours eating only Chipotle.
So I watched the rest of the big air competition. They're doing tricks that I've never seen, never heard of. And then they finally get to the point where they go and they replay dude's 2340. It's absolutely insane. And they're like, and the craziest part is he broke his wrist this morning. The guy in practice broke his wrist, went and got a cast, and then went out and pulled a trick that nobody had ever seen.
Yeah.
It was absolutely ridiculous. So then the X game goes. And if you think that was great, get ready for the knuckle huck.
The knuckle huck.
The men's snowboarding knuckle huck coming up next.
Okay.
Do you have any idea what a knuckle huck is?
I'm going to guess a knuckle huck is just jamming your knuckles in some kind of orifice.
Yeah, but why would that be a huck?
It's the noise the receiver makes once the knuckle gets
Oh,
in
is that
there.
what it is?
Come on, that's a good guess.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? I'm very curious what the knuckle huck is. And they're very excited because Zeb Powell from the planet Zebulon is a star in the sport, and
What the
nobody
hell's
knuckle
that?
hucks. I don't know. They're saying all these words that don't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like I said, I snowboarded. I watched the X game, but I never was that into it that I could name the tricks or do the tricks or do any of that. But they're telling me that I have just seen a 2340 and the knuckle huck featuring Zeb Powell from the planet Zebulon is going to go out there and ride a 215-centimeter board that has Michael Jordan on it is going to be something that you must watch. So I'm intrigued. Then they proceed to run 8 breaks where they do no sports, just talk about things, and it's just commercial.
Yeah.
And so I'm about out of it. I'm about to duck out of the knuckle huck. But then they present to me what it would have been very appealing to me as a snowboarder. The knuckle huck is instead of going off of a big jump where you've got a kicker. Do you know what kicker is?
Yeah, you just kick.
No. Kicker is the point on the jump where it's going to thrust you into the air where the jump does most of the work to get you elevated. These guys, instead, they're going over like just the crest of a hill where they have to generate their own upward velocity, right? So there is no kicker. It is just a bend in the mountain where you have to leap off of the knuckle of the slope. So that's kind of what they're doing. And it is 20 minutes nonstop, as many tricks as you can get in. All the tricks count, and the guys are going hucking the knuckle, getting down to the bottom, getting on a snowmobile and getting back up as fast as they can. They've got, I don't know, like 8 dudes hucking on the knuckle. And
stop drilling, you hit oil. I can't get over the fact that something's called a knuckle huck.
Hey, listen, I was all in.
That sounds like something that my middle school friend told me they did to a girl. And I was like, what is that? And then on the spot, they were like, oh, crap. They asked me what it is. Now I got to make it up.
Mm-hmm. Hey, listen, all of the things that you're saying, I'm with. I did not think I'd be watching Papa Shot this morning. I did not think I'd be watching Knuckle Huck yesterday. But I did both, and I enjoyed them both thoroughly. If you have time, I know this is very much It's a Wonderful Life moment here, but if you get a chance to go back and watch a replay of last night's Knuckle Huck, it's worth it. I know you won't. I'm asking you to. But it was won by Ziyang Wang from China with a triple tame dog over the knuckle. And, dude, it's worth watching. Just pull up the triple tame
I watched
dog.
the turn, and that's as much as
Dude,
I needed.
If you can watch, I'm telling you, watch the triple tame dog. The guy basically does a cartwheel over the knuckle. So his first tame dog is before the knuckle.
How was the dance last night? Peter took Ashley into the supply closet, and they
Gave her a
knuckle
knuckle hug. Hey, I'm picking up all the things you're putting down. Watch the triple tame.
Okay?
Watch the triple tame dog. Tell me that you're not all in on the knuckle hawk, brother. Listen, all of the things that you're saying went through my head last night.
Doesn't it seem like David and Peter are like too good of friends?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he knuckle hucked him at summer camp last year. Whoa, wait, are you serious?
It could also be like Canadian fight slang too. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm about to knuckle huck this bro, dude. I'm gonna go and like a hockey fight. Oh yeah, about to knuckle huck this fella.
I want to take our relationship to the next level.
Are you saying you want to knuckle huck?
You wanna- I'm not saying it. I'm knuckling.
The other thing that I've done, and I don't even know how to explain what's going on because I have no sound and I have no idea what I'm watching.
Just images.
Well, no. So the Ocho is replaying today. That's why we got the Papa shot. I'm watching.
Yeah,
I'm
it was an
watching. Well,
Ocho, I guess.
put
Isn't
on.
there college basketball on?
Well, I'm not watching college basketball. You can't convince me to watch that right now.
Yeah.
But I've got people running around a field like a artificial turf sports complex, and this woman is now shooting baskets behind looks like blocking pads for football, and so she just shot. Now she's throwing footballs through like the Dr. Pepper hole. She already hit tennis balls through a thing. She hit softballs, and now she's running and doing soccer kicks into a goal. So it's just running around doing all the sports things. And that's what's going on now, brought to you by Sonic on the Ocho. So you know what? I know the NFL championship games are tomorrow. I think I'm just going to go all in. Now she's hucking medicine balls across the line. I
Nice.
think I'm going all in on alternative sports. I'm done with this. I'm going to dedicate myself to ping pong and cornhole. I think those are my two best chances of entering in any of these competitions. I will be in full-time training, and when I'm not, I'm going to be watching Knuckle Hucks. That's what
I
I'm
think
doing.
your best chance.
My life has changed in the last 2 days, and I'm coming out as an alternative sports fan.
I think your best chance is quite honestly something more obscure.
Ooh.
Like if I were you, I would try find something very obscure and just get really good at it.
Yeah, but I want something that's got some. I want something that's got some sauce, dude. If I win a cornhole competition and I get like a year's supply of Jimmy Dean sausages, or if I get in the Papa Shot, brought to you by Pabst Blue Ribbon and Manscaped.com. Come on, dude. I'm getting my undercarriage taken care of. I'm getting my beers taken care of.
The only difference
Like this
between,
sounds.
yeah.
I mean, come on. I need a sport with a sponsor. I need something with some cachet. Here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to play this sport, which actually looks like an athletic competition, right? You're shooting baskets, hitting tennis rackets, doing all the
Got to be
things.
somewhat in good shape.
But I don't want to have to explain to people what it is. I don't have that kind of energy. My energy is going into training. I won the cornhole championship. There's gonna be a lot of eye rolls, but some people could be like, no way. So yeah, I'm setting up the cornhole boards in the garage, and I'm just gonna start checking bags as soon as I get home, and then my afternoons will be ping pong training.
I do love how too when we were watching the Papa Shot title that all the people who are really good at it were having a very good time, and even though they were all getting their asses kicked by what's the guy's name?
Josh Caputo.
Caputo,
Yeah.
right? They were like dapping up and
Yeah,
laughing
they
and
were having fun.
talking. This is why you wouldn't do well. You would take it very seriously, and like if you got beat like in one of the rounds.
Well, here's the thing: is I'm not gonna get beat.
Yeah, right. Like if you because when they got beat in those rounds, like they would like laugh at each other,
Yeah.
like do high five or something. Like during that little interchange, like they would come up to like high five, you'd be like, "Get out of my face!"
Can I tell you the other thing that happened in that Papa Shot though? There was not a close match. There was not a single.
Caputo just smoked them.
The semifinals were best 2 out of 3, and there was not a single match that went to a third shot.
Yeah.
Then it was 3 out of 5. Not a single one went to a fourth. And then it was 4 out of 7, and Caputo swept. They were all sweeps. It wasn't a very competitive thing. So you know what? Maybe I need to work on my pop shot. There's definitely a hole between Caputo and the rest of the field. If I can get into the finals, dude, that's a free trip to an exhibition hall at a medium level hotel in South Carolina. Come on. I mean, what else do you want? I heard the golf's cheap in Myrtle Beach. So if it's anywhere near there, a trip to South Carolina sounds pretty good to me. I'm all in. I'm all in. I mean, if you want to try to talk football today, good luck getting through my alternative sports shell that I've built in the world. I'm going all in.
I think you can break it for a minute to talk about your boy Pete.
Okay. You want to start with Pete?
Pete? Let's start with the coaches.
The
coaching carousel.
Jacksonville's not the team that needs to hire somebody you never heard of.
Okay, but you've heard the background of this thing, right?
No, I need. You know what?
Okay, because it's amazing.
Okay, all
it's very Jacksonville.
Okay, then maybe I have heard. Okay, I will not look it up in the break. I will let you tell me the story because you're such an efficient storyteller. But we will start with the coaching carousel in the NFL, and we'll do that next. It is the Sinner and the Saint on 1080 The Fan.
Go Crunch Mode this January and make 2025 your best year ever. Join your local Crunch gym to crush your resolutions, whether that's shaking off the holiday season, boosting your immune system, or hitting a new personal record. Crunch has got everything you need starting as low as $9.99 a month. Join Crunch today for just 25 cents to enroll and your first month free. Stop by your local Crunch gym.
1080 The Fan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sinner and the Saint, the greatest radio show on right now on this station. We are looking at the NFL coaching carousel. Things are becoming clearer for a lot of the teams that needed to hire. Well, actually, all but one. The only team still with an opening is the New Orleans Saints. Started off the year as the hottest team in the NFL, an unstoppable force that was going straight to the Super Bowl, and then they decided after 2 games that, nah. And Dennis Allen was fired. They finished 5-12. They are the only team that still has a vacancy. The Patriots have hired former linebacker and former Tennessee Titans head man Mike Vrabel, who was part of multiple Super Bowls there. Wunderkin, Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, is headed just a bit west and will be the head man in Chicago. And I think Chicago is over the moon to have that hire, which always scares me if you're Chicago. The defensive coordinator.
Didn't they do this already?
We'll go right back to this.
Wasn't
We'll get to all of them. I just
All
want to do the rundown real quick. Just let me have my moment. The defensive head man in Detroit is going the other direction. He is going east to New York and taking the Jets job, which that's probably a good hire, but probably a bad decision for Aaron Glenn if history tells us anything. Pete Carroll, former Seahawks and USC head coach and Patriots head coach, is going to the Las Vegas Raiders, which I'm very excited about that, just for a lot of reasons. The 2 confusing ones, head scratchers. I don't know which one's more head scratching. I don't know anything about Liam Cohen. Just the name makes me think that this is a reverse Ted Lasso hire, where he was a soccer manager and Shad Khan mistakenly thought he was a football head coach and hired him, but he was the offensive coordinator for the Bucs, who had a great offense this year. So Liam Cohen is going to Jacksonville. And Brian Schottenheimer is the best that the Cowboys could do. Brian Schottenheimer's been around a long time, 25 years in the NFL, but never been a head coach. No. What scares me for the Cowboys is the name Schottenheimer. They're trying to get out of 12 wins in the regular season and an early playoff exit. And I know that it's not Marty Schottenheimer, but the name Schottenheimer scares me. So where would you like to start, Mr. Darkins, with all those hires?
Well, I mean, we can kind of start with the obvious good hires. You know, the Jets got Aaron Glenn, which is punching well above their weight. Because that job to me was one of the most unappealing. I don't really care about the roster.
Does this feel like a repeat, though? With Robert Saleh was a great DC. He was so good in San Francisco that they just rehired him to be the defensive coordinator in.
So apparently the gripe on Saleh was that once he got in there, he didn't quite understand how to deal with stars.
Sure, I can see that.
Rodgers.
Well, but that's one of the changes from being a coordinator to being a head coach is how to deal with personalities.
And I guess the culture that Glenn had instilled in the defense in Detroit was a mighty turnaround from a historically bad defense to one that, again, was using a lot of young talent and developing players at a very high rate. Aaron Glenn was also credited with being one of the best coordinators to play very good press coverage.
Yeah.
He was very good at teaching his dudes and utilizing their talents to play press, because that is so much of what NFL defenses are trying to do now, because they tried the whole thing at the start of the season, right? Where it's like, look, we're just going to play off the whole time and you can get what's underneath. And then Joe Burrow figured out like, oh, I'm really good at getting the ball out of my hands really quick. So I'm just going to score constantly on you because all my receivers are really good at running routes. And so then when that changed,
running after the catch too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that.
So when that all
Jamar
changed,
Chase
everybody was like, okay, now we got to play press man coverage. And then you also have to take into account that Aaron Glenn was able to do what he was able to do, missing so many dudes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like so many dudes.
I don't doubt that that's a great hire for the Jets. I just don't know if it's the best decision for Aaron Glenn.
Well, so and then there's the other rumor that he wants to keep Aaron Rodgers, which is I don't know.
A defensive guy, who doesn't have to worry about the offense. It's all.
I think he'd be better going to get Kirk Cousins, quite honestly.
I would not agree with that, but I don't think you're terribly far off.
Okay, so you got that one. That's good. The Ben Johnson one, of course, that's low hanging fruit.
Everybody wanted Ben Johnson last year,
but didn't they do this with Matt Nagy? Right. That's what Matt Nagy was. And I should say, Matt Nagy did lead the Bears to a playoff appearance and I believe a 12-win season. And Mitch Trubisky looked pretty good in his rookie year.
Matt Nagy came from the Andy Reid coaching tree.
Yes.
The thing that seems so appealing for both Glenn and Ben Johnson is the culture shift that Dan Campbell led in Detroit. And if any of that rubbed off, I think that that's really what you're looking for. Andy Reid didn't have to do a culture shift. Kansas City's always been a good team, and he went there with a good, stable quarterback in Alex Smith. And I don't think there was a big turnaround. There was a meteoric rise. Then they got an all-time quarterback who seems to be Mr. Clutch and is the new Tom Brady. And if they win a third Super Bowl. So I think the appeal, as much as the offensive prowess and turning Jared Goff back into a elite starter in the NFL and all of those things, but I think a lot of what's appealing about Detroit is that culture shift thing. So I'd be curious about that. But so the Matt Nagy thing, you're an offensive coordinator for Andy Reid is different than being an offensive coordinator for Dan Campbell, in my mind, because who's the other guy that was the hottest coaching name out there again and again was Eric Bieniemy. Where's he at in this coaching search cycle?
I think he's in Chicago.
Yeah, he disappeared. But he disappeared as soon as he left the side of Andy Reid, who is the offensive guru. It didn't work, and that was where Matt Nagy came from. So I will say it's different than that, and I think he was one of the hottest names. So if it fails, you can go back and look at that, but I think that's a promising hire, and there's a lot of reason for excitement in Chicago.
Skipping over some of the others, Vrabel was kind of assumed.
Feels like a no-brainer.
Pete Carroll
What was the thing with Gerard Mayo, though? Like, why did they hire him? If Vrabel was available last year, I'm just wondering why it took them a year to do this.
Because I believe it was written into Belichick's contract, even on exit.
That Mayo would have the job?
Yeah, that he would take over. Yeah, that's
weird.
from what I understood.
Okay. Well, then I guess that explains it.
Pete Carroll, kind of interesting. I think a good hire for a team that's rudderless, though I'm concerned because Carroll likes to be in control a lot.
Yeah.
And
but who's in control down there?
Well, this is my concern. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's not that. It's that Davis wants to be and likes to meddle.
Yeah.
And Pete Carroll has been used to owners who, if things are going well, they leave him alone. And things went well pretty much the whole time in Seattle. So the Allens left him alone. And I mean, Jody Allen probably didn't even realize she owned the Seahawks, so he didn't have to talk to her.
The funny thing is how much we hate Jody Allen here in Portland. From what I hear from Seattle media, they love Jody Allen as an owner. She's fine. She's doing what you would expect to carry on the legacy. It's just a completely different perspective.
Because they have legacy people from Pete Carroll, like John Schneider, and they hired a very good rookie head coach. So I'm sure they're good with that. By the way, she had no part in that hiring process. I can guarantee that 100%. The part in her hiring process was probably Schneider emailing her. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Schneider emailing the Vulcans,
sure,
and who then emailed her and goes, "It's this guy," and she looked at the name and goes, "Sure,
okay, fine." Believe what you want to believe about Jody Allen. I know nothing about her, and I don't think a lot of people do.
You know something about her.
Yes, she loves boys dancing in front of her. Yeah. Everybody knows that, but who doesn't? So,
whoa. What's up with that?
I think
you trying to knuckle huck over there.
That's right. I think that the Pete Carroll hire is good from a optics standpoint, where it feels like it will be fun in Las Vegas. And let's be honest, the Las Vegas Raiders are a few years from competing, especially in that division where you've got the Broncos on the rise, the Chargers on the rise, and a team that has potential to win 3 straight Super Bowls and has been to 7 straight AFC Championship games. Getting Pete Carroll in there, that division now has 3 Super Bowl winners and, Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, and I think, too, you talk about, like, the far off,
I guess you have
title
2
hunt.
national championship winners in there, too, I guess is the thing. So between
you talk about Harbaugh or about the Raiders being far off, a Super Bowl hunt. I mean, the Raiders are... like I said, they're rudderless.
Yeah.
It's no man's land.
But Pete Carroll
really
is a rudder. But Pete Carroll's a
rudder.
rudder.
And that's the point. That was the point of the hire, which, a lot of people were kind of stunned because Carroll will be 74, meaning he is the oldest active head coach in NFL history. But, they need a reset so badly. They need a culture change so badly that I could probably see this happening. Now, I think the deal is 3 years with a 4th team option. Is that Carroll at the end of 3 years, depending on how it goes, would possibly shift into a GM.
which I think is great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which would work well for him.
Yeah.
So it's a good hire because at this point, it doesn't really matter if you even have a winning season next year. If you just show some progress,
Totally.
If you just show that like the team looks like they're playing well together, you have one or two discernible stars. I don't know who the hell's a star on that team. anymore.
Brock Bowers is a star on that team.
Okay, Brock
is
Bowers.
outstanding.
Brock Bowers.
And will immediately be the best tight end
Yeah.
Pete Carroll has ever had. So yes, he's
Very good.
and the
but
other-
you don't have a quarterback. You
No,
don't.
no, listen.
Even Crosby on defense was bitching all season. So
they have a lot of work to do it, and I
Yeah.
talked about this ad nauseum about the transition from the Pete Carroll to Mike McDonald year. But Pete makes things very simple. Pete Carroll is easy to root for. He makes things simple for his offense. He wants to run the ball. He wants to play defense, and he wants to change the culture. And for the Las Vegas Raiders, I think that's great because they have potential to be outdrawn by the road fans in every single game. Because who doesn't want to go to Las Vegas and party for a weekend and watch a football game? So to get Raiders fans in there, I think it's a great hire. There's a few others that we need to get to that I think will probably be longer conversations. So we need to take a break and do a Sports Center update because these are very
The
important.
Cohen one,
Well,
really,
I'm
I
leaving.
think it touches on the state of transactional relationships in the NFL.
Do you think
Takes it up a level.
Do you think I'm wrong that that it sounds like a reverse Ted Lasso? Liam Cohen.
Well, considering that he pretty much revitalized Baker Mayfield's career,
Oh, it's not a bad.
I'd say no.
Well, I'm telling you, just the name. Just take
mean-
it out of context.
Ted, come on.
Liam Cohen.
You are
Just sounds-
disrespecting
If-
Liams
if-
everywhere.
If Arsenal hired Liam Cohen to be their next manager, and all you knew was the name,
I'd say, oh, the guy from Oasis?
there you go. Exactly. All right. More coaching talk after this SportsCenter update.
Now,
I
from the
played the
Fan
crappy
Sports
one.
Desk,
Yeah,
a
you did.
Sports
What are you
Center
doing?
update on 1080 The
I'm
Fan.
watching this heavy guy in a visor run around the field playing all the sports. This is delightful.
Yeah, you're really on that, aren't you?
I'm 100% on it. He's got the YMCA sponsorship on his back. It's great. He's slowly hitting tennis rackets like he's never hit a tennis racket in his life, but he made every single one of them. Got his big old dad belly hanging out there.
What's that, ESPN News?
Yes, it is. The Ocho, buddy. You need to
Get
get it
over
on
there.
there. Get caught up. He's just huffing and puffing.
Got a bunch of golf crap.
Yeah. Oh, you don't need that. 38 points in
Oh,
a
there it
minute
is.
24.9.
The V.
The VIII. Yeah.
Um,
This guy looks fit. He's got no chance.
happened to catch the Aussie Open yesterday,
I'll watch a little Aussie Open, yeah.
or Thursday, I should say, I guess.
I did not.
Thursday night.
I've been
So
watching a little
Djokovic
bit.
retired from his semifinal match against Alexander Zverev after the first
I
set
did see that.
due to retirement injury.
And Sinner on the other side.
And
Defending
Sinner on the
champ.
other side. Now, the whole thing of it was that the Aussie Open crowd booed as he was leaving.
Really?
Yes.
Well, it's supposed to be the happy slam. I don't know why they're booing.
Booing probably because of the whole COVID thing he had.
Oh, yeah. I guess he
Yeah.
did that down there. Whatever.
Also,
He's not likable. I mean, he's great, but he's not likable.
There's also rumors that he is imminent to retirement, probably after this season. He's 37 years old. He's had multiple injuries. And this morning he posted on X that he has he posted an MRI of his knee
Yeah.
to show that it was healthy. But the problem is that it's an MRI of a knee, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Here-
fine. Looks like a knee.
Tennis not easy on the body at the highest level that these guys play at. 37 years old is somewhat ancient for it. And how many Grand Slams does he have?
24.
Yeah, I think I think he's going to hold on to that for a little while.
Well, now here's the worry: is Alcaraz at the rate he's going probably will catch him.
Sure, but how many does
Alcaraz is
have?
20 and he has 4 already.
Sure, I get that, but
Dude,
if you look at,
Djokovic, it took him until his mid-20s to win his first.
I understand that, but he was also going in an era where Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal were out there, and if Alcaraz does not have any competition, I think that you're right. But if there end up being 3 or 4 champions, this happened in golf, and I'd have to go back and scramble around to see what tennis history looked like. But there was always a next Tiger looming. It was Rory who won 2 or 3 before he was 25. And then Jordan Spieth almost had the Tiger Slam, or almost had the slam where he got all 4 majors in 1 year, disappeared. Justin Thomas won a few and disappeared. So there's been young guys that pop up, and you get the fame and the celebrity that go with, and the money that goes with winning championships early, and you're 25. What's a motivation to keep going? And when you have competition out there, sometimes ramps it up, sometimes makes it easier if you don't. So 4 is a long way from 24, and who knows what Alcaraz's career is. And then the other thing is injuries that can always pop up. So call me when he gets to 18 and he's 25.
More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Will Darkins from the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
these people, like, who's pressing charges that he gets arrested? And just go, oh, he's been through enough. Just let him go home.
Yeah,
Let him go sleep it off.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't think of a worse thing, like, whoopsie.
yeah.
That's pretty bad.
Well,
Like,
that it's like insult to
Yeah.
injury, and you went to jail.
yeah.
I mean, he
And
just
you
went
gotta
to
sit in jail.
He probably went to the drunk tank in
Yeah.
there, but yeah, like
You gotta sit in jail for the night, just sore.
let him go home and clean the whole thing. Find a loved one that can go and help him clean the thing up. Come on, that can't be fun. I'm picturing all the gauze and everything that's on the kid's tongue in Christmas Story,
Yeah.
and now I'm picturing that with this guy just sitting
Isn't it
sitting in the
always a
drunk
little wet?
tank. What? No.
No,
Right.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not looking down there all the time, but it's not. Look, when I get home, I don't take everything off, and then there's just wet
Not
everywhere.
wet, moist.
Well, why? Why?
Moisture.
Are you okay?
Well, listen, he's scrapping in the bar. Then it goes outside. Doesn't take long for it to get a little sweaty and moist down there.
One of the better parts of the story is the fact that his pants fell off while
Fighting. Yeah.
That's
hilarious.
that had to be a real tussle.
Picture what this guy looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the guy that has his pants tenuously tethered to his midsection, everything's wet down there all the time on this guy. It's just my guess. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's your Good versus Evil. It's brought to you by our friends at 808 Hawaiian Restaurant. Their food is delicious. You should eat it. If you're watching the Ocho or you're watching championship games, it's just as good. 3 locations, Burnside, Beaverton, and Woodstock. Check them out on their website, ate-oh-ate.com. Hour 2, we need to get into some football games. I want to start by looking back at what we saw last week and looking ahead to who I'm not a big fan of Gronk in commercials, but when he calls it Super Bowl licks, that cracks me up. So
I'm on that with you too.
Okay,
I'm just about done.
Oh, yes, but Super Bowl licks?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. You're a dumb guy, do a dumb thing. It's pretty good. So we'll talk about who will go to Super Bowl 59 and what happened, what transpired last weekend, because there was at least one big upset. And I don't think any of the games went the way you thought they would last weekend. So we start there in hour 2. It is the Sinner and the Saint on 1080 The Fan.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed.
sports.
Oh, this is so good.
The final frontier. These are the voices of the sinner and the saint.
Did you really think that after absolutely blowing your butt out in game one?
Did they blow their butt out?
Yes, they blew their collective butts out to try to get that win.
Whoa.
Their weekly mission to provide hot takes, medium takes, mild takes, to boldly go where no show has gone before.
Take me to Flavor Town.
Luke Anderson,
You're welcome. You're welcome, world.
Will Darkins,
I know what you're thinking. What will the butt test tell us that the nose test didn't?
the Sinner and the Saint Tailgate Show on 1080 The Fan, the
Odyssey.
map,
It's just turned into a gigantic Mexican.
and 1080thefan.com.
Hour 2! If you missed anything from hour 1, shame on you. But don't worry, podcast available. Odyssey.com, Odyssey app, 1080thefan.com. Also, it's going to be the live theatrical performance later on the Ocho. It will be played by children from around the world, reenacting all of the great moments from here. It will not be a verbatim. It will be artistically interpreted, and it will be on the Ocho. So enjoy that production later. If you missed anything about the Knuckle Huck, I highly recommend that you go back and get that. It was Will's favorite part of any show that we've ever done in the history of this show. But we have to move on to football. I'd love to talk about this dodgeball match that's going on, but we need to talk about last weekend so we can talk about this weekend. Will, I was sitting there at the end of all of the games. We had four great games. I don't know that each individual game was great, but I think the collective weekend, everything was fantastic. But when the dust settled, were you wrong on every game last weekend? Maybe
did
not
I
the Chiefs
call
game.
the-
Maybe
yeah,
not the
I
Chiefs
think
game.
I called the Chiefs winning,
Yeah.
but yeah, the other ones I think I was wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, the Chiefs game kind of went the way we expected to. I didn't expect C.J. Stroud to be just demolished as much as he was. What was he, sacked 8 or 9 times? And
Yeah.
the Chiefs' defense really looked like they were a force to be reckoned with. And I don't know if that's more the Texans and just kind of running out of gas and weapons and all of the things. Because, I mean, C.J. Stroud was sacked 60 times this season. So I don't know that it's a indication of how good the defense is for the Chiefs or how bad the offensive line is for the Texans. But the Texans got a lot of pieces, and if they come back next year without all the offensive weapons being hurt, I wouldn't be surprised if they stick around for a long time. We can move on from that game pretty quickly. Maybe the Eagles went the way that you expected it to, but that game was really fun in that weather.
Yeah, that was fun. It was interesting because it was probably one of the bigger emotional swings of any game, or at least any playoff game I can remember of this season, was the fact that after Saquon ran for that, what was it, 60-something yarder,
Yeah.
the Rams got like right back in it
They
within
were-
a minute.
The
It was insane. After that touchdown, I was kind of like, oh, okay, so this is probably over. But it right back there, that drive that Stafford had from like the 19, it took all of about 50 seconds.
The game plan seemed to be go after Stafford and pin your ears back and let's get downhill and rush the quarterback, and it was working really well. And then they get a 2-score lead, and then they kind of sat back in prevent, and then Matthew Stafford absolutely picked them apart. So I know Sean McVay's already come out and said he'd like to know sooner or later whether Matthew Stafford is coming back, and I know that he's now like 1-9 in bad weather games, but he looked really good at the end of that game, and it was fun to watch.
But you know what? If you're the Rams, I think at this point you need to start. I don't think the Rams have a contingency plan for him.
Well, I
just don't think they do.
Well, I don't need to get into how smart I am about football, but this is why you draft a quarterback and have a contingency plan. But having somebody learn behind Matthew Stafford, I don't think is a worse plan for next year.
Oh yeah, I mean that should have
but
happened
Matthew
this year.
Well, I understand that, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying though is Matthew Stafford, I think, has enough to go out there and take this team. They were that close to making it to the divisional round or the championship round of the playoffs with him, and that defense is only going to get better next year. So I think if you're Sean McVay, you want Matthew Stafford for one more go around, and you have to look at getting a quarterback to be his replacement.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's really. I mean, the guy is very injury prone.
You have to have another.
You have
plan.
a young defense who you would kind of hope you could take advantage of that with
with all the
bad
injuries,
contract. I mean, not bad contract, good contract
Yeah.
for the team heading forward. Yeah, I think that's the biggest surprise about the Rams is that they don't seem to really have a plan for
Yeah.
when he
No.
leaves, which could be any minute.
Yeah, well, they didn't have a plan for. It didn't seem like they had a plan for losing Aaron Donald and other pieces on their defense, and they took care of that really quickly. So we'll see. We'll see.
Eh.
We'll see what happens. We'll see.
They play. You know what's interesting about the Rams is they got very exposed very quick because they had that win against the Vikings, and then I think the thing that we learned from the divisional round was that the Vikings aren't good.
Yeah,
They just aren't. Either that or they got really, really bad the last 2 weeks of the season because the Rams seemed very good against
well, they don't have the quarterback
Vikings.
situation figured
Yeah,
out either.
and then they didn't seem very good against Philadelphia. The Lions defense looked resurgent against the Vikings the last week of the season.
Yep.
They got picked apart by Jaden Daniels. So
Jaden-
that's the only thing I learned. Like,
Well, Jaden Daniels, I mean,
yeah.
forget the talent he has running the ball, the touch that he has throwing the ball, the way he picked up the blitz.
Yeah.
He was never under duress that entire game, and they're throwing different packages at him. That's the thing that's most impressive is how quick he processes and picks up the game. I mean, you can ask any NFL quarterback now commentator, and they'll say that the biggest transition from college to the NFL is the blitz packages and the way that defenses are disguised, the pure speed of the defense. He's a good enough athlete that the speed hasn't been a difficult transition for him. He's accurate enough that finding those windows that are that much smaller in the NFL has not been a challenge for him. But usually, even when you've got that immense talent, it's still a learning curve to figure out the pre-snap and the exotic blitzes that you're seeing. None of that seemed to shake him at all. And the other thing that is just one of those, impossible things to put your finger on is the poise under pressure. And if you're looking at the Vikings, Sam Darnold does not have that button. Jaden Daniels does. And the moment has not been and does not seem to have any chance of coming where the moment's going to be too big for him. That's what I really learned.
dude, I'm picking them.
So am I.
I don't know. I know the weather's going to play into it.
Well,
but,
actually, it won't. It's so right now the forecast is saying mid 40s.
Okay.
Which is actually
Yeah.
a benefit to him, because one of the things that I mentioned last week was, Jaden Daniels does have some benefit of not having to play in weather. All of the other road teams had to travel to a hostile environment plus weather. Yes, it was really loud in Detroit, but not having weather as a second element to that, I think, makes a very big difference in that.
Yeah.
The other thing that needs to be said here is you have said that you are all in on Lamar Jackson. I know how much you love him as a player. He played well at the end, and I know a lot of people are ready to send Mark Andrews packing for a lifetime and calling him Bill Buckner. But they wouldn't have had to come back if Lamar Jackson was a little bit more protective of the ball early. You can never
there's an
blame.
argument to be made they would have scored earlier if Mark Andrews wouldn't have dropped that other pass.
Fumbled
or
other
fumbled
one. Yeah.
rather.
No, you can put a lot of it
what?
on Mark Andrews, but what was your? I just want to get your Ravens.
Well, to
feelings.
kind of bundle up the Mark Andrews thing, there is an argument to be made that perhaps you would trade him. The other tight end they have, Lively, has been insane.
Likely.
Likely.
Isaiah
is that it?
Likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been insane the entire season.
Well, and he
It's
caught
developed.
the touchdown
Yeah.
to give him the
and
chance.
I think he's
to-
only in his second year.
He's
So
great.
there's an argument to be made that you could get high value for Mark Andrews. Seriously.
Now
I
is
mean-
not the time to shop him, but yes,
Oh,
by
you
the,
could.
Well,
Dude, I mean,
I'm saying in a couple
Fluky, the
months.
guy is, but
In a
like,
couple- yeah.
yeah, I mean, look, the Ravens, we kind of said this in the first round, and we even said it, heading into the playoffs, was that, if you can't do it now,
Yep.
when? Because everything aligned. Your defense started playing really well at the end of the season. You now had the running back. The offensive line started to play well. Lamar Jackson has finally come into the best form you could possibly have, which is, control of the football in the pocket, knows when to make the big plays with his feet. Even the 2 turnovers, even those, he played incredible. And those turnovers
first
are gonna
pick
happen.
was that first pick was terrible.
It was bad, yeah.
Congratulations to the Buffalo Bills and kudos to what their defense did. They took Derrick Henry out of the game pretty early.
Yeah.
And that is no easy feat, especially when they're have an undersized defensive line against a huge offensive line for the Ravens. They took Derrick Henry out of that game early. They got the lead, and you can make the comment that they were maybe a little too conservative in the second half, but they didn't make mistakes and they were able to hold on. And I was hoping that the Ravens would get the 2-point conversion just to see what Josh Allen would have done with the ball in that moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said this again and again is most of the time when I'm watching a football game, the team that I'm rooting for is a team that have the ball last to win, because there's nothing better than it coming down to a final play. And in those moments, I wanted to see the Rams tie it up, and I wanted to see the Ravens tie it up just to see what they do on the other side of the ball, because having Saquon get one more chance to go out there with a deficit, or I can't remember if they would have tied it, but I think they would have had it tied. I think they're down 8. Yeah. But give them the ball tied up with the moment in the snow. You've got Saquon and Jalen Hurts, who gets underrated for his poise under pressure. It was a great weekend of football, and I cannot wait for these games. So we'll talk about those next. You're listening to The Sinner and the Saint on 1080 The Fan.
Join your local Crunch Gym to crush your resolutions in 2025, starting as low as $9.99 per month. Plus, you can join today for 25 cents to enroll and your first month free. Stop by your local Crunch Gym in Aloha, Beaver
2.0.
So just put in your third string linebacker and go. I need you to just go.
Yeah,
and
I
light
need
this
you to
guy.
go demolish
Go knock
this
him out of the
guy.
game. Send in
Yeah.
a goon.
Yeah, send
Yeah.
a good in and do it, because really it has gotten to a stupid point where quarterbacks are basically treated like not runners, but as fine china.
What would the reaction be if Buffalo did that and just sent? I mean, the Bills Mafia would love every second of it, but if somebody just went out there and did the equivalent of smashing a chair into his back and just tried to knock him out of the game,
If they did it in a clean way, meaning
Like,
that
yeah,
you
within-
got the
yeah.
jump on him
Yeah,
and he didn't do the stupid slide or the
Yeah.
wait till the last second to then get down. If you did it in a clean way, it would be celebrated.
yeah, I think so.
Because I think a lot of NFL fans are absolutely tired of the fact that quarterbacks are just treated like I don't know, infants.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it is. In football terms, they are treated like infants. Even when you see dudes that have clean shots at quarterbacks,
Yeah.
it is not a hit. It is a get to the ground and put your hands up.
Yeah.
I'm not getting a 15-yard penalty. I'm not
Yeah.
getting a fine. I don't want to be involved in that. I get the NFL is doing this because that's their product, right? Is the quarterback,
Yeah.
I guess. And so, they don't want to see guys get hurt and they're out for a season. But at the same time, it gets to this ridiculous point where now you just don't like them.
Yeah,
You don't
well,
like the change.
and the funny
I have
thing was-
yet to hear a argument for I should be rooting for the Chiefs, considering this team has won by a pathetic point differential. And it seems like other NFL teams that play them, they lose. It's not the Chiefs winning. They
Yeah.
lose.
Yeah, well.
The Chiefs beat, probably for the first time all season, they beat a team last week
Yeah.
because they seemed
They did.
better than
Yeah.
the Texans.
Yep, they did.
above
They
and
did.
all.
They did.
And the Texans probably didn't belong there.
There's a history of it to watch. You are witnessing greatness from a coaching standpoint. Andy Reid went to 5 straight NFC championship games, and this is his 7th straight AFC championship game. So yes, there are elements of the team that are very easy to pick apart, and you've done that. But they are very likable. The things are very unlikable in elements. The things that always drive me crazy. The Travis Kelce thing is, how does that guy get open? To me, that boggles my mind. I don't have a problem with Travis Kelce continuing to do what he does because he's always done this. The one that drives me crazy is when people complain that they keep showing Taylor Swift. That seems really
Oh,
stupid.
I don't care.
The defense to me is really, really good. The coaching is exceptional.
Yeah.
The Patrick Mahomes thing is funny because the 2 calls that he got last week were not ones where he did anything to try to get the call. The one where he did, where he's going out of bounds and he kind of lets up to try to get pushed, they didn't call that one. So
No, but they did call the one where he slid
Yeah, I
completely
get-
like a frigging
I get-
elevator, and then they
I-
said that he got hit in the head, which if you look on
the guys ran
slow-mo,
into each other.
They ran into each other.
I agree that
Yeah.
that was a terrible call, but I don't know that he's necessarily baiting. I don't know that you can blame Patrick Mahomes for that.
You don't think he's baiting?
Again, on that particular call, I think he was if he doesn't slide, he gets lit up.
I think that guy is baiting constantly. I think he does. And in fact, I would go on to argue that Kenny Pickett somehow got drafted
Oh yeah, with the fake
because he
slide.
faked a slide.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
can't
so-
think of any other good thing he did at Pitt. I'm sure their record was fine
Yeah.
in the ACC,
Yeah.
but I can't think of anything else about Kenny Pickett other than
Fake
he
slide.
faked a slide, which if that guy fakes a slide and I'm a defender, I'm getting right back up and I'm going to just destroy him even when he's on the ground.
Yeah, well,
It's pathetic. It's stupid.
I
And
don't
I'll
disagree with that.
old man opinion this one, man.
Yeah.
It's weak. It makes the league look weak. If you guys are gladiators and you're warriors and you're getting paid all that much,
yeah,
friggin' stand up and take the hit. That's why I like Daniels too so much.
yeah.
Dude will take a hit.
The other thing that was interesting too was, I don't know if you remember on the first call, the Will Anderson hit in the backfield. They reviewed that, and did you hear the review rules?
No.
So the rule is if you get called for, the hitting the quarterback high or whatever, the defenseless player, targeting, whatever the hell they call it, they can review that play, but if they make any contact to the head with the helmet, they can't reverse the call. So they did review it. They intended to reverse it, but he did make some contact. So the rules official said that they probably would have overturned it, but he did make contact. So were they bad calls? Yes, I think both were bad calls. Did they change the outcome of the game? No, I don't think they did. And do I think that it was baiting on the part of Patrick Mahomes on those 2 calls? No, I don't think it was. So I get that you hate them. It is history. I am rooting for the Bills. There's no question about it. Speaking of guys that are happy to take a hit, Josh Allen is chief among them at quarterback in the NFL right now. He is a guy willing to lay a hit on somebody. I'm 100% rooting against the Chiefs, but if they make it and they make it to history, I will not say that they've done it without earning it. And the idea that the officials are doing it, I think that barking is getting a bit too loud.
Well, and let me put it this way too, is the fact that, in seasons past, you could very much attribute a lot of success to Patrick Mahomes.
Sure.
The team's success to Patrick Mahomes. You can't do that this year. The guy plays like complete garbage for 3 quarters and then has 1 good drive.
Doesn't make the mistakes, and then when you need him to fall down throwing the ball with somebody around his ankles, he still makes spectacular
And
plays.
I don't want to hear the crap either. Oh, he doesn't have the talent around him. You want to be compared to Tom Brady?
Well,
Okay, you go back and look at the talent that was around Tom Brady.
But
he had 1 season, 2 seasons,
Patrick
where he had a
Mahomes.
Hall of Fame receiver. After that, his best target was friggin' Julian Edelman.
Patrick Mahomes has gotten to the point where I think he's perfectly happy winning 15 regular season games and playing for a chance to go to the Super Bowl right now. I don't think he needs your validation that he had a good year or not. The team has had an exceptional year, no matter how they've done it. The Chiefs are greatness. They are a current dynasty. They're the best thing that is going in the NFL from a consistency standpoint. And you're welcome to hate them, and I understand why a lot of people do. I am rooting against them, but they have had a remarkable season when they have not had the weapons they've had in the past. I don't think they have nobody out there. And if they win this thing, man, I will be the first one to be like, congratulations, 3 in a row. I didn't think I'd ever see it. And I didn't think they'd be this good this year, especially with how close they've played all these games. But, dude, a team that needs a blocked field goal somehow always finds out how to do the blocked field goals. Their special teams was awesome in that game. And how they keep doing it, I have no idea, but I won't be mad if the Chiefs win. I won't be rooting for them unless they play against the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So speaking of the Eagles, we'll talk about that game. We'll do it after this SportsCenter update.
Jake from State Farm.
The Vancouver.
Hey, what's up, Jake from State Farm?
The Vancouver Forward text line would like to know what level of baiter is Pat Mahomes?
Really high.
I think they want to know if he's a master.
I'm not going to say that.
I'm guessing that's what they're trying. They're trying to bait you
This
into
show
saying
is not
master.
about that stuff. We
The
don't do
text
that.
line is trying
No,
to
I
bait
know that,
you.
but I'm not going to
into
do
saying-
that.
You're
We
not
don't
taking the
stoop
bait.
to that level.
You're not going to take the bait.
We don't stoop to that level on this show.
Yeah.
What are you doing after the show? You want to go knucklehead? I don't think anyone's here. I think we got the building to ourselves.
I do not stoop to that level. Very proud of you.
I don't think anyone's going to be here all afternoon.
A lot of windows. All right, would you just go? Pick your stupid stuff out. I'm glad that you're not going down to that level.
Oh, Shrine Game's happening. The
fun.
NFL, one of the first little steps to the draft.
Yep.
And sources revealing that the Titans met for a 45-minute meeting with Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, well, they got the top pick. They need a quarterback. Will Levis ain't the answer.
They also said they had a FaceTime meeting with Deion Sanders, which
I love that you have to talk to
This
both.
is the conundrum,
It's
right?
fun.
Yeah, it's a package deal, and then probably it's going to be a bundle deal because he's going to want his brother there too. And
You know what? I don't have a problem with that. Shiloh and Shedeur are on the same NFL team. I mean, Shiloh, what's his draft grade?
I don't know. I don't even know what Shiloh did. Is
Safety.
he a DB?
Safety.
Or safety? Shiloh. All right. More sports scores and stories. 30
All
minutes. Will Darkins for the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Bellagio's Pizza.
Commanders at Philadelphia Eagles. Game time weather should be 40 degrees. So it should not be a weather-impacted game. At least in a dramatic fashion, the Commanders and Eagles split their games during the regular season. This is a tale of two different trajectories. The Eagles were in the Super Bowl just a couple of years ago. Last year, it felt like everybody was going to, implode, and these teams were going to be at each other so and kill them. But they may have secured the greatest free agency signing outside of the quarterback position ever.
At least in recent memory.
Well, there's two, at least at the quarterback position. Peyton Manning going to the Broncos sets NFL records for passing and touchdowns and all of that. They go to the Super Bowl, get housed by the Seahawks, and then Tom Brady signing with Tampa Bay. He just goes on and wins the Super Bowl without Bill Belichick. So those, I think, are hard to beat. There's some other signings, over the decades that made big impacts in the long run. Curtis Martin, John Riggins,
Herschel Walker.
Reggie White. Herschel Walker getting traded was the opposite. Him going to Minnesota was
help the Cowboys.
Yes, but that was, also a trade. But as far as free agent signings, Saquon Barkley is unbelievable.
Side note, I learned something about that trade that apparently the Cowboys had written into the deal that if they didn't like their draft picks, that they could somehow redraft or something.
That was
something insane.
Biggest fleecing of all time.
Yeah.
But name another running back outside of Derrick Henry that has been the face of his team in the NFL in the last however long.
The only really short time span I can give you is Marshawn Lynch and Todd Gurley. And it was very, very short spans of time. Before the Rams, I think a lot of people forget about the early McVay Rams in that Todd Gurley was that offense.
He was so good.
He was insane. The one indelible image I have in my head of Seahawks is when they went to Seattle, I believe in their Super Bowl year, their first Super Bowl year where they got trounced by the Patriots, was when they went to Seattle, and Gurley had 330 yards total. Through the air and on the ground, he just diced them up. And I remember thinking, this dude is the friggin' future. Now
he was.
Yeah. Now arthritis had other plans.
That'll do it. Yeah. But Saquon Barkley has gone to a team that was a contender and a Super Bowl runner-up 2 years ago, and I have a hard time not saying he's the face of the team. I mean, after what he did last weekend, I think this dude is the Eagles right now, and not just in the fact that he's getting all of the yards or whatever, but if you're doing a highlight package, it is Saquon first, everybody else second. But the image of him running through the snow, pounding himself on the helmet, it's all of the things that he was supposed to be in New York. Immediately jam-packed into one season of just blinding speed, and I mean he has more yards without being touched than anybody else maybe in NFL history. I mean, he's making 60-yard runs where people are just throwing a couple fingers off the back of his cleats.
Yeah.
In the snow, in a divisional round of the playoffs. So that is a remarkable story. And on the other side, a team that was not a contender at all makes changes at ownership, head coach, quarterback. The most amazing thing about this run that you're getting from the Commanders might be overlooked by a lot of people. Their starting left tackle is a 3rd-round pick. Their starting right guard is a 4th-round pick. Their starting center is a 7th-round pick. And their other 2 offensive line positions are undrafted free agents.
Yeah.
They are doing this with a patchwork offensive line. They've had a couple guys that were high draft picks that have been hurt, but their starting offensive line, the highest guy, is a 3rd-round pick. Their average draft position is 5th or 6th round. It's absolutely insane what they're doing. Their defense, who's their star on defense?
Bobby Wagner's played an important role terms of leadership, but somebody in their secondary, I forget.
Okay. So and they're doing it with a rookie quarterback. I mean, this is a team that I think is very hard to root for a franchise that was impossible to root for the last 2 decades.
Yeah,
I mean, the turnaround is just from just a optics standpoint, forget a football standpoint, they were the Redskins for 99% of their franchise history, which was off-putting to a lot of people for social reasons. They won Super Bowls and they had Joe Gibbs, but then they get the worst owner maybe in sports who gets ousted, and they turn everything around like that. I mean, it's just they're hard not to root for.
It's an insane turnaround, and I think
the Commanders was a stupid name, and now people are getting it tattooed all over themselves.
It's not that bad.
People didn't love it when it came out.
I kind of did like the Washington football team better.
Hey,
it's great. It's a good name.
But what cements a name is right now the Commanders are
fine.
They're easy to root for, so it's a better name.
Well, I think too what's going to be more interesting about this, because you talk about how, this is a really fast turnaround, and a lot of times in the NFL with these fast turnarounds, because they do happen. In fact, it happened with the formerly known Redskins and Robert Griffin III in his rookie season.
Yeah, but they didn't win a playoff game.
They didn't win a playoff game, but the difference between that season, one of the more kind of finite differences between that season and what you're seeing, is that I don't know if there's any real discernible weakness that Jane Daniels has.
No, I know.
With these rookie quarterbacks, there's always something in the offseason where you can go back to the tape and you can start kind of keying in on it, because it happens.
Yep.
CJ Stroud's a great example where teams kind of went back to the tape and they started figuring out this guy's not incredibly accurate.
And he can't handle pressure.
Yep. And so if you can blitz him enough and you can play some soft zone underneath, he will make mistakes eventually. Great big play quarterback, huge arm,
Just his downfield touch is remarkable.
Very good. I don't really know what Jane Daniels' weakness is. He's one of the more accurate rookies I've ever seen in the NFL.
Yep.
He is very mobile.
He does not turn the ball over, and he processes like a computer.
He doesn't seem prone to massive injury, though he did have that thing with his ribs for about 5 weeks during this season, but they stayed afloat. I mean, obviously they did. They're in the playoffs at this point. So that's what, to me, signals that this guy's around to stay, and this team might be around to stay too, because they have a lot of very favorable contracts right now on the books where they're not doing a lot. They might have to re-sign McLaurin, which at that point, Daniels might get good enough that you just say, like, well, man, you can walk. Like, we'll go draft for receivers.
Well, and one of the things that you always bring up, too, is this offseason, if you're a free agent, how many people are going to want to go play in Washington?
Yeah, especially in that division, too, because the Cowboys are not a threat. The Giants are not a threat. And the only thing you have is against the Eagles, where, it's going to be competitive. But if you look at every other division except for the NFC South, that's the one you want to go to if you want to have the best chance at a playoff.
Well, and I think the other thing that's happening too is the more stories you hear about it, everybody loves his leadership and what he does. He's got that easy smile on the sideline. He's got this calmness to him. The moment, they're all of the intangibles that are there, but all of the tangibles are there.
Yeah.
Like it's like usually when people start talking about intangibles, it's because you don't have the tangibles.
Yeah.
He's got them all. But I do want to point out something that Dan Campbell said, not this year, but last year, which is how disappointing it is to lose in the playoffs because you may not get this chance. This is lightning in a bottle, and I think that, being able to capitalize on it now,
it might be.
changes the entire dynamic. If they can complete this run and win the Super Bowl.
Now, what I would say is there's actually a flip side to that, which is it's lightning in a bottle and you win a Super Bowl. But now what?
Well, I get that. But
it can go both ways, because I hear what you're saying with that. And what I would say, like, argumentative-wise, is Patrick Mahomes. You remember his first full season, right? Which was pretty much his rookie year.
Yep. No, it was his second year.
Well, I'm saying, like, pretty much.
You're saying his de facto rookie year was his second year in the league. I got you.
And you remember they lost to the Patriots on an offsides penalty.
Yep.
And then
Frank Clark?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we all know what happened after that. So easily that could have been another situation where it's like, everything's working out right now. We got to make this happen.
Well, I guess if there's the point that I was going to, if there's anybody to point to hey, I know that this feels like we're building something. We have to take advantage of this moment right now.
Yeah.
Is a head coach that had a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl, and it all came crashing down.
Yeah.
They had an MVP quarterback. They had all that. So Dan Quinn, having somebody that has been there before, I don't think Dan Quinn is getting enough credit all of the time because Jaden Daniels takes so much of the spotlight. But you know what? I think Dan Quinn likes it that way. I mean, he's one of those guys that has never been flashy. He's got an easy way about him. It was funny. We were watching the pregame, and he's like Dan Campbell light. He's kind of got like that similar build and presence or whatever. But he lets it all come to him, and he doesn't go
until he
go
was
aggressive.
DC at the Cowboys because he was pretty calm even in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And it's a similar situation too because of the Matt Ryan MVP season. Quinn was just
Dan Quinn was with the Seahawks. I mean, he was the captain of that Legion of Boom defense too. So that's what got him the job in Atlanta. So he's had nothing but success, and they won a lot of games when he was a DC in Dallas. So I mean, the guy's a winner. So I like all of these elements. And yes, I think they're going to be around a long time with a quarterback like that. But don't take any of it for granted, man. Go out and take it right now. And I think they have the momentum to do it. But Philadelphia is a hell of a football team.
Yeah, hell of a physical football team.
Yes, they are. They're gonna be hard to beat. So I cannot wait for either of these games. We'll do a very short one and we'll get you out of here. You're listening to The Sin and the Saint on 1080 The Fan.
Hey, it's Dusty. Victor Rico's just dropped new menu items. Restaurant quality, made fresh, and served fast. Plus, they're open late. So whenever hunger hits, Victor Rico's is ready. Trust me, it's delicious. Visit them in store or order online at victorricos.com for takeout or delivery.
I'm Jeff Jr., founder and CEO of Trajan Wealth. I was born and raised in northern Wisconsin by both my father, who owned a small 10-lane bowling alley, and my mother, who was a nurse, who did her best caring for everyone in our small town. My parents stressed with me that if you were going to do anything, it needed to be done right or not done at all. I later joined the Marine Corps, where additional values were instilled. Values like honor, courage, and commitment. The motto of the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, which means always faithful. The best part of Trajan Wealth, our 100-plus employees who also embrace the exact same values. If your current financial advisor is more interested in selling you something or is more loyal to their own financial gain than yours, give us a call for a second opinion. We would be honored to hear from you. Call Trajan today,
503-207-6000, or visit us online at TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
You now have a friend in the barbecue business. Matt's Barbecue on North Mississippi, behind Prost. Sourcing only the finest meats. Briskets so juicy they sparkle. Ribs that shine. Visit Matt's Barbecue at the Hinterlands or our new location inside Great Notion Brewery on Alberta and fall in love with our tacos. Fresh pressed flour tortillas stuffed with the same great barbecue. Breakfast tacos, too. The next time you're hungry, head down to Matt's Barbecue because you have a friend in the barbecue business.
Hey, it's Suk, and for many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning, the crown's disappearing, maybe hair loss has you feeling like your identity is lost altogether. Well, I've got good news. It's an incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts regrowing your own natural hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help you retain what you have, but what if you want your own natural hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to their world-class physicians, it's not maybe your hair is going to regrow, it's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, and they are the team that I personally recommend. So for your free consultation and $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, simply call 503-832-HAIR. That's 503-832-HAIR or online at advancedhair.com.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With Autopay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Take it easy, baby.
The Sinner and the Saint Tailgate with Luke Anderson and Will Darkins on 1080 The Fan.
Not a ton of time, but do need to remind everybody out there that the Ocho is being played on ESPN News. So sit back, watch that. If you get a chance to catch the rerun of the men's snowboard knuckle huck, that is mandatory viewing. That's my what to watch. Will, what do you got for people that they need to do? What's your must watch for this weekend?
Obviously, NFC AFC
What?
Championship, but season 2 Severance.
I started watching season 1 of Severance. I don't know how I feel about it. How many episodes does it take to get you real hooked? It's
3.
It's I.
3,
I think
really.
I just watched the 3rd episode. Must be the 4th.
It gets crazy.
I mean, it starts crazy. I mean, there's no question about that. But season 2 that good?
I've only got 1 episode of
But it's a
season
good
2.
start.
Yeah,
It's a good start. All right, I'll finish up Severance. I will take your word on it. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening along. Will, thanks for everything as always. We'll talk about who's playing in the Super Bowl next week. For now, we're done. Bye-bye.
It's winter in Oregon, which means rain. Waterlogged soil expands as it saturates, and that pressure can impact your home's foundation, sometimes even allowing the rain to get into your home. Terra Firma Foundation Systems can help. Terra Firma is the Northwest solution for safer foundations in dry basements and crawl spaces. One easy call can protect your home from all the water we know is coming. Visit GoTerraFirma.